Breaking news: United States, the United Kingdom announces the digital ID will be mandatory for all of the UK. All right. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Rachah. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessing to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect. Shalom Barakathum. And the United States, the Prime Minister of the UK, I keep saying United States, Keir Starmer, okay, just announced a digital ID system that's going to be coming, and he said by the end of this Parliament. All right, and he said he sounds pretty direct and straightforward about it. Okay, he said you will not be able to work in the UK, okay, unless you have that digital ID, and he said it's as simple as that. Okay, right. Now what he's saying is simple and fair-minded people want them to be able to. He said simple and fair-minded people, want them to be able to do what they need to do to govern the country. Something along those lines, he said. Okay, and what he's basically alluding to is, if you've been paying attention to the UK, they have been very draconian in their efforts, especially on free speech. They have been sending the police to people's doors out there if you said particular things online. Okay. You said something mean to somebody on Facebook, or you said a word that isn't really politically correct. Okay, they'll send there. They can fine you. I think in some cases they might even arrest you. But they'll have to correct me if I'm wrong on that. They'll do a little bit more research. But that's made the news several times that they've been having the police, roll up on people because of things they said. Okay, on the internet. Okay, and they're on that rainbow woke BS agenda too, because that's really a globalized small head agenda. Okay, that's the reason why Korea and Japan and Sweden and all of this other stuff, women are out of order. Okay, they promote that left side. Okay, and what you're gonna have is all hell breaking loose out there in the UK, because they're already mad. They just had one of the biggest riots ever out there because they're bringing in all of these migrants, man. Now they're going to track everybody and see bringing those migrants in is going to give them more of an excuse. So now this side has more of an argument to bring in digital IDs. All right, y'all complaining about the migrants coming in or the immigrants coming in. Then we got to be able to keep track of everybody, and it's gonna go just like that, man. Okay, and these people are divided, man. They caught a quote from one dude. Because the UK decided to call it the Brit card, okay? The Brit card, the BRIT, Brit, short for Britain. And he said they just trying to, fully conquer us, man. Because he said I'm a Scot. If you know about a little bit of the history of the UK, the reason they call it the United Kingdom is because Britain, which is the main island, okay, where you have London and Liverpool and places like that, they were a separate people, okay, and then you have the island above, okay, which is I think there's more islands than two, but but it's the main two big islands, okay, is Britain, and then you got the one above, which is split between Ireland and Scotland, okay, and Ireland and Scotland consider themselves different people. And so the Scots and the Irish definitely consider themselves different people from the Brits. So, in the reign of this current lineage of Edomites ruling, they took over. The UK. They took over Ireland and Scotland. They conquered them, okay, and they made them the United Kingdom. All right, but there's still been a lot of animosity over between the Irish, the Brits, and the Scots. Okay, they never fully, they had no choice, but they never really fully assimilated into British culture. So he's calling this the Brit card and applying this to everybody in the UK. So that's going to be even more division. Okay, and the Lord is cold about that, man. There's division on that front, on the front of immigrants. Okay. People are hurt because everything costs so goddamn much. All right, And so this thing is moving, man. If you don't know where this is going, then you've been under a rock, man, okay? This is obviously going to be the charagma. This is going to be a litmus test of a Western nation having this thing presented to them very, very swiftly and overtly, okay? How are they going to respond? How are they going to react? How are they going to... You know Esau's monitoring all of the communications, the cell phones, text messages, what people are saying, what people are watching on social media. He's getting all that data and information, and now he's got AI. He can just crunch all that data in AI without even having to manually look through it. AI can just give him a synopsis on a synopsis, meaning a short, brief explanation, summarized version of a story, of what the sentiment is of the people. Okay. And so he'll know how to move and how to adjust. Esau's going to know what to say to you to get you to take it. But ultimately, you're not going to have a choice, man. And they need to bring that here. I just texted an image of the article into the group chat. The elder said, they need to quit playing and bring it here. And they definitely will. But it's like, come on, man. What are y'all waiting for? America's like a big... It's one of them... It's not like chicken wings in the oven, man. It's like one of them big rump roasts, It takes a long time for it to be done in the inside, man. But once it's done, And we're getting to that point here in America, all right? Because it seems like it's tarrying, but the scriptures say that in Habakkuk, man. Though it tarry, wait for it. It will surely come, Because that is going to be the new way, man. America is already... They basically put the idea out there already that they're gonna monetize or demonetize gold to solve our debt problem. Okay, in other words, they're gonna take that $37 trillion of debt and they're gonna convert it into the crypto market via stable coins. Okay, and what that's gonna do is basically double the amount of currency in circulation. So it's another way of printing money, but just on the digital currency side. And they're going to get all the other nations to buy into it to wipe away our debt. Now that's a plan that Trump is floating right now, but we know he's already going to do it, because why else does he have a Bitcoin statue in the front? Okay, why else is he pushing stable coins so hard? Okay, the debt is not sustainable at all. Okay, the interest alone is now $1 trillion. That's 20% of what they get in taxes just on interest payments. Imagine if you had a minimum credit card payment, instead of it being $40 a month, it's like 20% of everything you bring in. Let's say you make $2,000 a month, okay, and you owe $500 in minimum payments. That's not servicing the credit card balance. That's just minimum payments, $500 a month, and you only make $2,000 a month. Okay. How else you gonna pay rent and do all the other things, man? Get a car, move around, buy groceries. That's the U.S. debt situation, man. $1 trillion just on interest payments, man. So $37 trillion does that, okay? And they can continue to raise the debt ceiling all they want. All that does is give them a license to spend even more money. That's how we got here, them raising the debt ceiling. So they're gonna have to have a solution. Okay, it's going to have to be an economic and social solution, okay, for the unrest that's going to be going on, because this market is cooked, man. The Fed can't do things conventionally, man. This whole thing of raising rates and lowering rates, it only gets you so far, because that's not the real core issue, man. Okay, and when the charagma comes out, a lot of these camps, a lot of you guys are going to be looking foolish, man. A lot of your congregation is going to leave. A lot of them are going to have a lot of questions. They're going to press you, okay? And rightfully so, man, because you should have been teaching the right thing the whole time. A lot of y'all know, y'all were just making things up when it says Revelation 13 and 16, you will not be able to buy or sell, okay? Well, now Keir Starmer, who is the UK Prime Minister, this motherfucker is saying you ain't gonna be able to work. Okay, so what does that mean? That's another way of saying your ass ain't gonna be able to buy or sell, because if you can't work, you can't eat. Okay, they ain't giving out food stamps like that in the UK. Okay, so if you can't work without the digital ID, then you already know what time it is, man. You know? So, you know, this is amazing news, man, because the Spirit of the Lord is definitely moving through the earth, man. You can see the spirit of division on Esau, and then you can see the spirit of confusion on the masses of the people, especially 2/3 Jakes. Because the Lord don't want y'all to get it. The rest, which are the elect, all right, they're coming in the spirit of understanding, man. You know, of pulling out, of pulling back, and that's what a righteous man would do once he has the eyes to see what's going on in this society. He would in his spirit, he wouldn't want to be a part of it, man. Okay, your first inclination is to pull back out of this thing, you know. And brothers got to hold the faith, man, because your flesh is gonna convince you to just stay in because it's convenient. You know, you're gonna lose your job and you're gonna do this and do that. Your flesh is gonna try to convince you of these things, man. But you gotta be a part of the household of faith, man. Okay, where everything we do is based on faith, man. The Lord is taking care of us this far. He got us through child slavery. We can get through this shit, man. You know, brothers will do what they gotta do to do what they gotta do. You know. But ultimately, the Lord is coming back to destroy this place, the whole damn thing, man, okay? The whole beast system, which includes the EU, okay? World War III is going to pop off, all right? And I suspect it's going to be something to do with Trump monetizing his debt or leaving the rest of the world with the debt of the United States, okay? That's going to have a lot to do with it, I think, you know? But everybody in the world is going to adopt some version of this system, okay? Where you can be able to transact and interact with the current world. And this is why they got you comfortable. This is why they got everybody addicted to convenience, okay? Because it's really a silly thing if you knew how to farm, if you had land, okay? If you had the ability to defend yourself, a digital ID wouldn't mean shit to you, you know? But everybody's so plugged in. We're on cars. We're on the internet all the time. Okay, we gotta get on these highways and drive and sit in traffic. Okay, and get direct deposit, you know, funds, and go to a grocery store and buy whatever bullshit they give you, man. You don't know what you get in the grocery store, you know. And so now they got the vast majority of people. Okay, so these are those times, like it says in 2 Ezra, the 9th chapter. You know, this is the time where the Most High will begin to visit the world in which He made. All right, so we're measuring the time diligently, and we're almost there, Akim. So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Hashem Rachak Wadash Shalom, Kam Yasharallah.